the sky, you cannot see a butterfly. Look through the window, realize all you see is for you and I. In your dreams, through the nights, every moment that passes by, look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah, Muhammad is His messenger.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to another episode of New Muslim Guide, where we are talking about the guide for the new Muslims. We're sharing with you elements of what the new Muslim should follow in terms of knowledge, what he needs to know, the details, the information, instructions as to which way he should take. Many new Muslims, when they come to Islam, they end up being misguided or deviated because nobody's there for them. Nobody's there to help them, to guide them, to show them the way. And that's why we are here. We're here for you, inshallah. This series, this program is good for you. It'll be beneficial for you and for all Muslims all around the world and for the non-Muslims as well. We have with us in the studio today Brother Sam, and we will be talking about your dress code, clothing from an Islamic perspective. This is a topic that really needs to be talked about because many people don't know the do's and don'ts of dressing in Islam, and inshallah we will touch base on the important points with evidences from the Quran and from the Hadith. The Hadith means sayings from the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. As I said, we have with us Brother Sam in the studio. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you, Brother Sam?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Ryan, for having me on your program.
You're welcome. May Allah bless you. Now, we know that clothing is an important role of the human being, you know. You wake up in the morning, first thing you do, or one of the first things you do is change your clothes, right? Have your shower, then you put on different clothes than the clothes you were wearing. You leave your house, you're dressed up. You go to work, you have your clothes on. You take a holiday, you're with your friends, you have clothes on. Even when you swim in the pool or in the beach, you are dressed up. You know, you have some type of clothes on. So we know that clothing is very important in the human's life, right? What are your comments on this?
Well, I think we need to be reverent in the way we dress before God. Even when we come to the mosque, the masjid, that we're dressed appropriately before God. There are ways to please God in the way we conduct our lives, our behavior, our dress. It's important. Dress should not be sexually provocative. Today we live in a world where wrong seems right. We live in an age where everybody wants to do their own thing. But there are consequences to being so free. It's a breakdown in morality within society today. And it has consequences on ourselves, on our families, and on society as a whole. So we want to avoid the consequences.
Yes.
We want to please God in the way we behave. We want Him to bless us. We want Him to reward us, to encourage us. We want to seek God's direction in the way we dress.
You mentioned a very important point. You said when you go to the mosque, you should dress appropriately. You probably didn't know that this verse is mentioned in the glorious Quran. Allah told us, O children of Adam, wear your best clothes to every mosque. Did you know that?
I've read that, yes.
Okay, so Allah told us to wear our best clothes when we enter the mosque. And we know that the purpose of clothing is for different reasons. What comes to your mind? Why should one clothe?
I like to wear nice clothes. I like to wear clothing that is, what we say, considered reverent before God, that's not provocative, that doesn't seek to attract other people, but is nice and clean, and that's relevant to society today. There are certain things that are fashionable, that's okay. There are certain things that are fashionable that are not okay. What do you think?
I think that one of the purposes we should wear our clothes, or wear clothes in general, is to cover our body parts.
Yeah.
People shouldn't be seeing certain parts of the body. And one of the main reasons we do wear these clothes is to cover them up. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, Ya bani Adam, قد أنزلنا عليكم لباسا يواري سوآتكم. O children of Adam, we have sent down clothing to you to conceal your private parts. So that's the main purpose Allah is telling us. He sent down clothing to us, which is a bounty, it's a blessing. You were saying to be blessed from the Almighty Allah. This is a blessing for one to conceal his private parts when he goes out. And this is, it's not something inhumane, or something strange for one to conceal his private parts. People from different religions know that, this is something mandatory, that, some parts of the body must be concealed, right? You were a former Christian, and you probably embraced that belief.
Yes, but we also know that we live in an age where wrong seems right, and where people want to intentionally be sexually provocative by uncovering their bodies in such a way to attract others to them sexually. And this is forbidden by God because there are consequences to that kind of behavior.
Yes, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, eat, drink, dress, and give charity, but without extravagance. This is in a hadith narrated by An-Nisa'i 2559, authentic hadith. Prophet Muhammad said, eat, drink, give charity, dress, but without extravagance. What could we extract from that hadith?
I don't think we should be wasteful in anything we do, or to seek to live in an extravagant way. Extravagance itself can lead to overindulgence and sin.
Yeah, and it's sad that we see that some people, go out shopping, go into the mall, buying clothes that, they don't need. You see him going to Nike, buying pants for sports. Well, he already has 20 pairs of pants at home.
The problem today is credit cards. It's so easy to spend money we don't have, and to go out. This debt that we're building up by living extravagantly is causing many problems in families, and even causes divorce.
Yes. And this is something that's being widely spread. We see it, amongst couples. Big fights, arguments happen, and divorce rates are increasing due to this, due to extravagance. People are wasting, buying things they don't need. Islam prohibits this. Islam tells you, do buy things, go out and buy some clothes, go shopping, but without extravagance.
In the West, we have a simple living movement, which tells people, live simply, out of debt, debt-free, and don't follow the ways of the world. This is coming from non-believers. So I think the simple living movement is something that we can all seek to emanate. Smaller houses, not extravagant cars, not extravagant clothes, and to live simply yet comfortably in this world, knowing that this is all temporary. The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come. That is why in paradise we're promised garments made of silk that smells like musk. I mean, who could imagine that? Imagine owning a garment that's made out of silk and it smells like musk, and you get to abide in paradise forever, for eternity. And you have garments and palaces, but on certain conditions. Be straight with Allah, be steadfast, dress appropriately, don't be extravagant, be moderate, have that belief, that firm belief until you die.
Young people today, young Muslims, you need to understand all of this is temporary. The best is yet to come.
May Allah provide us with proper understanding, comprehension, and allow us to act and apply what we learn. Many of us hear things, and the moment we hear it, we choose not to accept it. The most important thing in Islam is that when you gain the knowledge, you gain the benefit, apply it to yourself, then share it with others. This is what Islam is about, right? Learning something new, in applying it to yourself than sharing it with others. So this is a message that is very good for the new Muslims. Let's talk about forbidden clothing. We know that, clothing is good for us. Generally speaking, clothing is good for us. It's a blessing from Allah. Allah told us in the glorious Quran in 2 verses. One verse, He said, wear your best when you go to every masjid. And He says that we sent down clothing to you to reveal your private parts. So we know that, clothing is spoken about in a positive way in the glorious Quran. The Prophet Muhammad told us, peace and blessings be upon him, eat, drink, give charity, dress, but without extravagance. Also, another positive quote by the Prophet Muhammad about clothing. So we know that clothing is appropriate, it's good for us, but there are certain types of clothes that we should avoid, forbidden clothing. What comes to your mind when I say forbidden clothing?
I would think clothing that is, as we mentioned earlier, sexually provocative.
Let's first analyze this. You're right, what you said is good. Let's analyze what forbidden is in terms of clothing. Now, a man has a awrah different than the woman's awrah. Awrah means private area that nobody is allowed to see. The man's private area is from his navel up until his knees, to the bottom knee. Not the upper knee, but the bottom knee. Those are his private areas. Anything in between that, nobody should see except for the wife, the spouse. Other than that, nobody should see it. The woman, on the other hand, the woman must cover everything except for the hands and face. These are not awrah. These are not private parts. They're not considered private parts. When she prays, when the woman prays, her hands are revealed and her face is revealed, correct? When she goes for umrah, performs hajj, her hands and her face should be revealed. So that is for strange men. But with the spouse or with her children, it's a different case. She could wear something else. She doesn't have to wear hijab when she's sitting with her husband or with her child or her brother or her father. She has to conceal some private parts, but she could reveal others that she doesn't reveal to men. So if a man were to swim in swimming shorts up to half of his thigh, that is impermissible. That's forbidden clothing in Islam. If a woman were to wear tight pants and a shirt and only hijab when she walks out, that's impermissible because of it revealing some parts of the body. You have a comment?
No, I think I'm agreeing with you.
Alhamdulillah. And it's always good that it's that way.
Yeah.
And we know that, from the previous times, even with other cultures and other religions, you used to see people, women dressing more appropriate, They used to cover parts of their hair. They used to wear long clothing. I mean, compare 2016 back to 1920 or 1910.
Yeah.
Right?
Even the men wear long bathing suits.
The men would wear, and they're not even Muslims, but they used to have this modesty, right? And by time we see that people are, getting naked more and more every decade or every year or every, generation that passes. We see that people are starting to reveal more of their private parts. So another part of the forbidden clothing is clothing that involves dressing like or imitating the opposite sex. That is to say, Brother Sam wears a dress.
Yeah.
That's forbidden. That is to say that a sister dresses up in a tuxedo like a man's tuxedo. That is forbidden. That is to say that a sister wears a thobe and a shimagh, the shimagh. That is to say that a sister wears that and, dresses like a man.
Yeah.
That's forbidden because she is imitating the opposite sex, the opposite gender. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Cursed be the man who wears women's clothes and women who wear men's clothes. That is by Abu Dawood, 4098. Authentic quote by the Prophet Muhammad. Cursed be the man who wears women's clothes, and cursed be the woman who wears men's clothes. Did you ever know this information?
I haven't heard that quote before, but certainly it's something we need to heed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really doesn't make sense that a woman dresses like a man or a man dresses like a woman. It's, it's against human nature. Let's talk more about this after the break,
But we
inshallah.
live in an age of existentialism. We'll talk.
Yeah, after the break, inshallah. We're going to take a break. Don't you go anywhere. This is a hot topic, your dress code. Thank you.
There is no God but Allah. Muhammad is His messenger.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk.
I could agree that institutional racism does exist, and to be precise, we should define institutional racism, and that is hidden or non-apparent racism within an organization or an institution. I have witnessed it, me being half Saudi. My last name is Arab. So when I moved to the States back in 2002, after the incidents of 9/11, I did face some racism.
I think it can be what you do, but in the sense of without thinking. The things you do naturally without having to stop and think, that just come out.
Okay.
You know, this innate nature of you, and how you think, and and the way you see things.
We can get your insights on the two different countries, inshallah, further on into this conversation. Mamadou, if I can come to you, what's your thoughts on institutional racism, especially in the UK? Do you think it's really prevalent there?
The way we live, it's kind of a combination of two things: our language, and then what we believe in. So if we have got a language without believing in something, so it will be useless. So we have to get like both things going together.
I'm calling your name. Oh, Allah.
Hoda TV is committed to helping others. So why not help Hoda TV share the message of Islam worldwide? Take part in helping spread the authentic message of Islam based on the Quran and the Sunnah throughout the world by sponsoring Hoda TV. Don't miss this unique opportunity to gain the reward from Allah.
There is no God but Allah. Muhammad is His messenger.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Just before the break, we were talking about clothing from an Islamic perspective. We did mention that clothing is good. It is talked about in the Quran in multiple verses. The Prophet Muhammad also mentioned clothing, and he said, do not commit extravagance when you dress. Allah the Almighty said that He has brought down clothing to us to cover our private parts, and He also commanded us to wear the best clothes when we enter the mosque, the masjid. It's sad to say that when we enter the masjid, we see that people are not really dressed really well. You know, when they go out to a wedding or to a dinner with their friends, they wear the best. But when they go to the mosque, they just put on anything. What do you have to comment about that?
Well, I see this. I see men coming in short pants and T-shirts to the mosque. I try to wear... I live in Saudi Arabia. I like to dress like the Saudis. It's a custom to wear tobe. I enjoy the tobe. It's appropriate for the climate. I don't wear it because I think that's what I should wear, but it's comfortable for the climate, and it's decent, and it's modest. So, but I see other people coming in. I see some poor people coming in the best they have. It's not as good as what I have.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be extravagant, and I don't want to put down those who can't afford better clothes.
Yes. And it's okay to dress nice. Some people say, oh, I'm a religious person, I shouldn't dress nice, I should wear like the worst clothes I have.
Yeah.
But we remember a quote by one of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad who came to the Prophet and he said, I like for my shoes to look good. I like to dress good. Prophet Muhammad said, sure, there's no problem with that. As long as you're not, arrogant with your clothes. You're not dressing to...
I'm better than you.
Yeah, exactly. This is something that is
Pride.
commonly spread. Yeah, people wear, the nicest clothes to walk around with pride. We know that the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, told us that a person who wears a thobe and drags his thobe as he's walking, this person, Allah does not look at him. His thobe is so long that he has to drag it. Just like a wedding dress. The women, when they wear their wedding dress, that's okay. But for a man to drag his thobe, it's not okay.
No. I see some thobes now with Armani and the various fashion stores. It's okay too. But if we're wearing that emblem to impress other people, it's not good.
Yeah, to impress the Almighty Allah.
Yeah.
That should be the intention.
Our intention should be to impress God.
Yes, always. To be sincere, to do your actions for the Almighty Allah. Even when you dress, even when you sleep at night, before you sleep, say, oh Allah, this rest is for your sake. I want to wake up in the morning, inshallah, and obey you. And I cannot do that unless if I get this rest. So please count this as a good deed. Everything you do, if you do it with a good intention, you get rewarded for it.
Alhamdulillah.
Even when you inhale and exhale, when you breathe in and breathe out with the intention of gaining more oxygen so that you could have more energy to worship Allah, to share information, details about the Quran, about the Prophet Muhammad, then you earn a reward for that. Every single thing. This is how tremendous and wonderful this beautiful religion is, Islam. Alhamdulillah. So we stopped at the point of forbidden clothes, clothes that are forbidden in Islam. We said that clothes that are forbidden are clothes that reveals the private parts. We said the private parts for the man is between the navel and the knees, and for the woman, everything except hands and face. With an exception that if she is with her family, it's a different case. We said more clothing that involves dressing like or imitating opposite sex is forbidden. Dressing like the opposite sex or imitating the opposite sex, this is completely forbidden. For me to wear a dress and, say I'm a man, but, I'm wearing a dress. You like my dress? That's forbidden in Islam. Even for a man to wear makeup or to look like a woman in any way, to imitate a woman, that's forbidden. For a woman to imitate a man, to trim her hair so short, like your nice hair, that's forbidden. If she, did so, that's forbidden. The Prophet Muhammad warned us. He said, do not dress like the opposite gender and do not imitate them, because whoever does so is cursed. We ask Allah to protect us. It's a very serious matter. This being widely spread. We see, when you go to the mall, all around the world, in Muslim countries and in non-Muslim countries, you see women imitating men and vice versa. As though they hate the fact that they were created with that gender. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think the word needs to be to youth today, because the advertising industry in the United States alone is spending $38 billion a year to try to convince young people that you have to wear this clothing to be popular, or you have to have this gadget to be popular, the latest iPhone, the latest laptop. And sometimes we're more impressed, or we're more desirous to impress our friends in the world than we are to impress God by the way we live. We don't need all of this stuff. I saw a bumper sticker, occasionally you see it in the United States. It's meant to be funny, but it says the man who dies with the most stuff wins. Well, that's the exact opposite of the philosophy of God. We need to die to seek to please God by the way we live, in simplicity and in the way we dress, the food we eat. It's all there. His don'ts are not negatives, they're positives,
Yeah.
and they're there to protect us.
Interesting quote. The man who dies with the most wins.
Most toys wins.
Really?
Yeah, toys like laptops and gadgets and
Yeah, it's like,
cars.
hey, it's like, it's a message.
Yeah.
Go ahead and be extravagant. Go
Yeah.
ahead and waste. Go ahead and buy as
This
much
is
as
all
you
there
can.
is.
You
Enjoy
only
life.
live once. Yeah,
Live and die.
that's a wrong belief.
It's a wrong belief, and anyone who follows that philosophy will end up in hell.
Yes, yes, sir. We know that, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, when he left this world, he had nothing.
No.
Not even money. Just moments before he died, he had like 7 dirhams left, or 7 dinars, sorry, which is, a very small amount. He told his wife, Aisha, donate with that money. Go donate with that money. Prophets do not leave inheritance. They do not leave money behind. All they leave is the knowledge. A prophet leaves knowledge behind. Us, regular humans, we leave our money for our children to enjoy with. But prophets do not leave their money. They donate all their money before they die, and they leave the knowledge they have. So the message we get from the Prophet Muhammad is that leave this world with nothing, with your good deeds. Leave this world with your good deeds. That's the best thing you could take with you. Back to the topic of forbidden clothing in Islam. Clothing that involves dressing like or imitating the opposite sex, that's forbidden. Clothing that involves imitation of the dress traditionally worn by non-Muslims. Example, the monks, the priests, the cross. For me to be a Muslim and to walk around with a cross necklace. This is common. You may see this in Western countries.
Yeah, the cross is fashion.
You may see it from a Muslim, right? You may enter a mosque, a masjid, and see a Muslim praying with a cross shirt or a cross necklace on his neck. That's forbidden. That's like imitating the other religions.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own character, our own personality. We're satisfied with what the Prophet Muhammad came with. We're pleased with it. It's complete, it's full, we love it. So we have no reason to be imitating other religions in terms of clothing.
Yeah, even Buddhism, symbols of Buddha, or of Hinduism. These souvenirs are sold widely around the world, but we're Muslim.
Yeah.
We behave and we act like Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
This is to be blessed and honored by God.
Did you ever, when you were a Christian, did you ever used to wear the priest clothes or the monk clothes or anything like that?
No, and I never actually wore cross.
Mm-hmm.
But I know people who do. My daughter's a Christian. She wears a cross.
Mm-hmm.
I don't forbid it, but I hope that in time she'll become Muslim, and that she will learn to behave as a Muslim.
Let's make dua for her right now. Let's ask the viewers to make dua for her. O Allah, guide the daughter of Samuel Shropshire and the wife of Samuel Shropshire. O Allah, guide her to Islam. Guide her to the correct beliefs. Ameen, ameen, ameen. I see that you have tried to convey the message to her and to bring her closer to Islam.
My actions speak louder than my words. I want to be a good father and a good husband. I want them to see me as in that respect, as a good Muslim.
Ameen. May Allah guide them and correct their beliefs. It's really good that, a person like you, a Muslim who follows and obeys the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, still feels for his non-Muslim relatives and still wants them to be guided. This reminds me of the characteristics of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. We're going to wrap this topic up with one of the last things that is forbidden in regards to clothing, and that is silk for men. Men should not be wearing silk or gold. Men are not allowed to wear gold, nor are they allowed to wear silk, because the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, these are forbidden for men but permissible for women. That is in Ibn Majah 3595. That's the source of the quotation. It is authentic. So we did talk about clothing from the Islamic perspective, your new dress code. You know what is forbidden, you know what's permissible. Insha'Allah, from now on, you could wear what is permissible and you could avoid wearing what is forbidden. Until next time, insha'Allah, this is your brother Rayan Arab. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Dark night in the sky, you cannot see a butterfly. Look through the window, realize all you see is for you and I. In your dreams, through the nights, every moment that passes by, look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah, Muhammad is His messenger. There is no God but Allah, Muhammad is His messenger.